Welcome back to Hardball. There are battles between Republican governors and these public employee unions, causing some sometimes Republican-friendly voters to turn on those governors. Well, today's Politico reports that rank-and-file police officers and firefighters who long viewed themselves as separate from the rest of the movement are carrying picket signs, signing petitions, and standing side by side with their labor brethren in a way that we hadn't seen before. So even if Republicans score some short-term victories, are they doing some long-term damage to their party? Harold Schaitberger is the general president of the International Association of Firefighters, and retired police officer Michael Taylor is with Ohio's Fraternal Order of Police. And Harold, let me start with you. On this. Look, you've been, and the Firefighters Union has been fairly traditionally Democrat on the national level, but talk about the state level and the local level firefighters and the partisan diversity that they've shown over the years.
Well, Chuck, you've been watching us in the political arena for a long time. Our principle has really always been pretty straightforward, and that is that we will support those in the elected field that support us, and that makes us probably one of the more bipartisan unions in the country. But our principle is very careful, and that is you've got to support us. And these attacks that are now going on in Wisconsin against workers, Ohio, Nebraska, Tennessee, Oklahoma, New Hampshire, and the list goes on, are absolutely galvanizing our members. They've given us a lot of energy, and our members are going to push back and push back hard. You're not going to get members who traditionally support those in the GOP to consider supporting them when, in fact, we are facing GOP governors and legislatures that are literally trying to rip their rights away from them they've earned over all these years.
And Michael Taylor, why is it that in Ohio, you know, the governor in Wisconsin had a carve-out for firefighters and police officers? How was it that there was no carve-out in Ohio? What happened there? Did you guys try and get one?
Well, I can only speculate on the why, and that is that I think that at least in Ohio, that maybe some of those in Republican leadership and the governor's office view us differently than maybe they did in Wisconsin. You know, the governor, shortly after being elected, was captured on a video calling a police officer that issued him a ticket over 3 years ago an idiot. The videotape of the stop was clear that the officer was very professional and did absolutely nothing wrong. So even before this started, our members were very apprehensive of the new leadership in Ohio and what their thoughts were on police officers and their respect level for police officers.
Harold, I want to talk, though, there was one of the stories that I've looked at in looking at the local level in this issue about collective bargaining and where there is flexibility and where there isn't flexibility. It is the story of Mansfield, Ohio, because this was a town that was struggling, was basically bankrupt, wanted to renegotiate some of the contract with the firefighters, couldn't, had laid off some workers. You guys had to sued on behalf, and you're supporting your firefighters, and understandable, you sued on behalf, and then other folks had to get laid off. Is that a story like that? You say to yourself, we've got to become more flexible. You know, obviously you're upset about this fight with Governor Kasich, but can you get more flexible on the collective bargaining?
Chuck, let me say this. First of all, you point out the one example there. Let me point out that in Tulsa, in California, in San Francisco, in Elyria, Ohio, in place after place, our members, in fact, have been doing the responsible thing. We have been going back to the table. Our members have agreed to furloughs. They have deferred wage increases in many cases. They've been doing their part in cities, in states all over this country.
And are you advising the locals? Are you advising your locals to do that? Don't get drawn into these fights. This is not the time to draw a line in the sand?
Well, right now what we're advising our locals to do, and that is to make sure that we are coming together to fight back on those that have attacked our workers, our members, and are trying to simply kill our unions and keep our political voice out of the political arena. And this has brought all of our members together. And our focus right now is on the recall effort. We'll be involved in all 6 of those recalls for Republican senators, and we're going to be heavily involved in the referendum recall on SB 5.
Well, I want to show some poll numbers here, Michael. This is a Gallup poll. Who do you agree with in these battles? The state employee labor unions, or the governors? This is just overall. 48% say they tend to side more with the labor unions. 39% with the governors here. You know, what is it that the governors have gotten wrong in this fight? Obviously, you don't like the policy, but messaging-wise, it seems as if you're getting your message out there. And they're not. Why do you feel like you're winning the PR battle?
Well, in the polls we've seen in Ohio, the numbers are even higher than that in people that support us. But they've gone to almost trying to create a Darth Vader image out of public workers. And, you know, public workers are your neighbors, they're your husbands, your wives, your brothers, your sisters. These are not evil people. These are not Darth Vaders. They try and talk about the union bosses. Look, our union bosses are police officers. The president of the FOP in Ohio now is a full-time active police officer in Marion, Ohio. So I think the public is seeing through this image they're trying to create for public workers and teachers and firefighters and police officers, and they see it's a bunch of nonsense. They see it's all about politics. They see it's all about ruining the unions, getting rid of the unions, and they think it's maybe even a little bit of class warfare. And I think the public sees through that.
And Harold, how much money do you think you're going to end up having to spend, and how much money is the labor movement going to end up spending in Ohio and in Wisconsin?
We're going to be investing very heavily, Chuck. As you know, just at the federal level, last year we spent over $2.7 million in the political arena. We will be investing very heavily in Wisconsin as well as in Ohio to move that referendum forward and to repeal those senators. Our members are really coming to the table, and we know how to commit significant resources to this kind of effort. If I may, Chuck, just very quickly, this is not about budgets and deficits. This is a fraud. This is all about power, and this is about the right wing of the GOP that thinks they see an opportunity to make a power move and to try to cripple our unions, to try to take workers' rights away. And what they're really doing is they are galvanizing our members, and they are moving them forward in the fight.
And Michael Taylor, very quickly, in Ohio, how confident are you that you're going to be able to get the signatures you need in the next 90 days to get this on the ballot?
I'm absolutely confident we'll get the signatures, and I think we'll get a lot more signatures than we need. There's just no doubt in my mind. Our people, as Harold said, our people are fired up and ready to go like I've never seen them in my 26 years. I'm very confident.
This is going to be like a mini presidential election in an off year. Harold Schaitberger of the Firefighters Union, good to see you. Michael Taylor,
thank you,
from the Ohio Fraternal Order of Police, thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Chuck.